It feels just the way I left it, only better.
The last time I saw you in
Oh my God, guys, can you hear this audio? They put it like stereo. Pete's comes out the right, Joshua comes out the left. I know there's no way they did that on purpose.
Secretary Buttigieg, Mayor Pete, thank you
Because it's coming out
so much for doing this interview, and welcome home.
Thanks. It's good to be back.
Audio cuts
Just
out.
a little bit, yeah. Saw some old friends last night. Went out for a run this morning with
This is our local news, guys. Unbelievable.
an old running buddy, and was amazed to see new trails that didn't exist last time I went out for a run in South Bend. So really,
And they're winning Emmys too, and they can't get the audio right. Look, he's got 2 mics on too. What is going on over there?
really proud of everything that the city has done, the growth that's happened, and I don't know, it feels just the way I left it, only better.
The last time I saw you in person, you had won Iowa back in 2020. Who knew now you'd end up, after 4 years, ending your tenure as Transportation Secretary? What are some of the lessons you've learned in the last 4 years?
Well, it's been
to get rich quick, get out, and try to run for president, miserably fail, and get in line for another government job where Elon Musk is going to crack down and really see what you guys are up to, Pete. They're going to uncover all those files.
Just an extraordinary journey, and probably the biggest lesson is about what's possible when you meet a moment with big resources and big ambitions. President Biden, I think, recognized what the country was up against in 2021, the economy flat on its back, businesses in free fall, the transportation sector is seeing the most disruption we'd seen since 9/11. And we came in not just with measures to rescue the economy, but to really build for the future. This infrastructure vision is the biggest infrastructure investment that our country has done in the better part of 100 years. I think you'd have to go back to Eisenhower to see this level of
Oh,
work.
God, dude, name dropping Eisenhower to what he's involved in and what he's doing. Come on, relax, buddy.
Bipartisan as well.
Bipartisan.
We're going to see what happens if Trump rolls with you or not.
Happening all over the country, and a lot of it, of course, benefiting places like where I grew up in South Bend, where we live in northern Michigan, and just every corner of the United States. And seeing the power of what can happen when you tear down those barriers, line up those resources, and seeing how much can change has been just inspiring. Part of what's amazing to be back here now is to think back to when I became mayor. And
he only lives in Michigan. Okay. I don't think he lives that far away.
We face double-digit unemployment, and you might have a dozen people in an apprenticeship class in the building trades, and now hearing about them having hundreds and hundreds of people just in an individual trade on an individual job. These are exactly the kinds of things we dreamed of when I was first taking on this job as Secretary of Transportation, and now it really is happening.
Any regrets, any failures that you wish if you had another
let's hear some
year,
failures.
what would you point to?
Oh, there's always unfinished business in a job like this. There's
That audio, well, there's no end goal. It's always unfinished business. It's always an evolution of opportunity.
100 more things on my list that I would like for us to have been able to do. And even now, even though there's only a few weeks remaining, we are working to push out more dollars, get more grants agreed to, get more policies finalized, things that will protect airline passengers, workers, and other things. So we're going to keep pushing until the last second. And then I think I'll have a chance to look back and think a little more fully about what we got right.
Yes, think a little more fully. We would appreciate that. Thank you.
And what I wish we might have done differently, but I can already say that what we got right was a lot, because the impact around here and
The blue suits. Do you think Joshua's like, I didn't know he was going to wear blue?
impact around the country is just at a level that I wouldn't have dared to dream of if I were back in my mayor days saying I wish the federal government would do this, and that.
We're still looking at the final numbers.
Wow, this
30 million
audio is
passengers
incredibly
going through TSA
terrible.
over the past Thanksgiving weekend, a record for TSA, and this comes after a little bit of a shaky fallout a couple years ago around the same time. Do you take credit for that at all?
Certainly, we did a lot to help bring that about. Also, the airlines stepped up and responded to our pressure in a way that I think has helped. And I'm really proud of it. Look, you're always looking around the corner for the next thing that could create disruptions. But we just had the most passengers getting on airplanes in one day in American history.
That's
and over that
awesome.
Thanksgiving weekend, the rate of flights getting canceled was less than 0.5%. Even with the weather, not exactly.
Business is good. Business is good. That's all he is a frickin' businessman. Don't think he gives a shit. He's a businessman. He reached his goals. That's why he's coming back to celebrate in his hometown to boost his ego. He's like, let's not go on vacation. Let's go somewhere where they know me and they're gonna celebrate me. Well, pat on the back. He's like, let's get a news interview, everything, because we're going to party.
Fully cooperating. So when you think back to what it was like maybe 3 years ago, we've seen enormous improvement in our aviation sector, but there's still a long way to go. And we're going to have to hire more air traffic controllers. We're going to have to keep pushing the airlines. And we're going to have to deal with a lot of new technologies coming online that could help, but only if they're managed wisely.
We're about a month removed
Wisely
from the elections.
is
What do you see the
keyword.
next 4 years looking like, not only just in your position, but also in general in this nation? What is your outlook?
Well, certainly my hope is that a lot of the transportation work that we have
He's using hope because he's from the Obamacare era.
done will continue to have bipartisan support. Obviously, a
He's an Obamacare bear.
different administration will handle it differently. But when I think about the incredible job creation, for example, that's happening in EV-related facilities in northern Indiana, whether it's the GM plant taking shape right here in St. Joe County, or a facility that our administration just announced a $7 billion loan support for in Kokomo, or tons of others. You know, that should continue regardless of politics, because the people getting jobs there aren't getting jobs because they're Democrat or Republican. These are just good jobs. So I hope that'll continue. But look, I also know that we're going to have a lot of challenges as a country, a lot of challenges in maintaining trust, the rule of law, and a climate and culture of mutual respect. And I think the best tools
that would
we're
be
going to
good.
have as a country to build up those things that we need to strengthen are probably going to come from the ground up, not from Washington. I think a lot of the most important
Truth.
leadership
That is true.
will be local. And part of it's my background, having cut my teeth as a mayor, but part of it is just looking at what we're facing right now as a country. I really think salvation in our political life will come from the state and local level.
Have you spoken to your successor yet, your potential successor?
I will be honest. That was the best era in South Bend is when he was mayor. It was actually a pretty good time. There was hype. When you love your oppressor, there's going to be a better vibe. When everyone's behind him and they're cheering him on, it's a good vibe. That's why the second Trump era is going to be worthwhile. Like, there was no vibe with Joe Biden. There just wasn't a vibe at all. Okay. There was a vibe when Pete was mayor. I'm not saying I love Pete, but when you love your oppressor, when you love your political leader, it's going to be a good time.
We had a good conversation. I let him know that he's coming into the best job in the federal government, and he'll be working with the best team of public servants you could ever hope to work with. And of course, I want the department to continue to succeed under his leadership. No doubt we have different political views, but I wanted him to know how great of a role and great of an opportunity is waiting for him.
You have, over the last 10 years, have served in some capacity, whether it's for the Democratic Party, whether it's for your city, or whether it's for the nation itself. What's next for Pete Buttigieg?
So I don't know what my next job will be. I know what I care about. And I care about the same things that propelled me when I was mayor here in South Bend. I care about seeing places in the industrial Midwest, like where I grew up, find a great future, be true to their tradition but not afraid of innovation, seeing that kind of job creation, seeing how infrastructure is part of that, building trust among people with different stories and different walks of life. All of those are the things that I love being immersed in, and I got to do that in one way as mayor. I got to do it in a different way as a presidential candidate, and in a very fulfilling way as Secretary of Transportation. But I haven't made any decisions about what's next, other than that I'm really looking forward to a little more time with our 3-year-old twins and with Chad.
Yeah, this is actually him, dude. This is interesting. Why he's making this visit. He's almost like, hey, I'm kind of done with this era. We did what we can do. We finished it. I'm coming home to celebrate. And then I'm moving on, mostly past this shit. He's a liberal. He's a Democrat. The Trump era is coming in, and he's probably getting out before he gets exposed. And he's coming home for one last fucking celebration.
And at home.
Anything else that I may have missed that you want to add for people at home?
Just I'm so proud of what South Bend has done, on my watch, but also ever since.
And he misses home, and he actually wants to come back and be mayor again.
And I'm proud of James Mueller too, and the leadership in the city and just in the civic.
He's envious.
Leadership of this community. They're continuing to deliver big things.
And once James Mueller got his hand on this opportunity, he's never giving it back to Pete. Pete might have to run against him, and Pete will definitely win, dude. He's going to run. He might run for mayor again. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, actually.
Some of the problems that folks are worrying about now, finding enough people to do the good paying jobs, building enough housing to take care of the population growth. These are real challenges, but challenges we only could have dreamed of confronting back 10 or 15 years ago when I got into this.
Thank you. Mayor Pete, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay. Biggest interview that you could do for the hometown. I mean, this is a legit hometown hero, and your audio's messed up. Guys, WNDU, pick it up. Come on, guys. You got a massive team doing this stuff. I've tried to call and offer my advice. It's hard to get through to you guys, you know. I don't know what to tell you, but the audio problem, big no-no.